Turn Lawnmowers, Jackson Lumber, Team Impact, Blue Moon Belgian White, and FindMassMoney.gov. On 98.5 The Sports Hub.
2-2. Swung on and missed. The slider gets him, and that's the ball game. 5-3. Tampa Bay in the first meeting of the year. First of a bunch of them coming up immediately. They win it by 2. Yeah, tough one.
All right, let me give the phone number right out of the gate because you have about 25 minutes if you want to talk baseball. 617-779-0985. 2 items on the docket tonight. We'll get to them both right away. We'll start with Tampa Bay and the Red Sox inability to beat the Rays, who beat them last night at Fenway Park. 5-3 was the final. Tampa Bay, listen to this. Tampa Bay has won 12 of the last 14 games against the Red Sox. And starting in 2019, the Red Sox are 27-54 against the Tampa Bay Rays. 27-54 against the freaking Rays. Now I know why the Red Sox are obsessed with becoming what Tampa is, because they can't beat them. You're their biatch, for crying out loud. That's the whole logic. You're the Tampa Bay Rays bitch. So this is it. This must be what's behind the whole quest to become the Rays. The Red Sox cannot beat Tampa Bay. Is that what's behind it, Jimmy Stewart? Is it that simple? That the Red Sox can't beat them head-to-head? So they say, why can't we beat this team? And they're doing it at a fraction of the cost we are? So let's implement their methods so we can at least save some money? The Tampa Bay Rays, by the way, are the worst thing that ever happened to baseball. Can I add that?
Second worst.
What's the worst?
Oakland A's and Moneyball.
Okay, so that's they're sort of in the same under the same umbrella, which I'll grant you. That really, talk about ruining the sport. Because they all go back to analytics. They all go back to being able to be competitive for less. And frankly, I think it's ruined the sport. Baseball has had a chance now, or has had the need to change many of the rules, all because teams like Oakland and Tampa were able to be successful in the regular season. In the regular season for less. Sort of like I know a local team that's been good in the regular season, but you put them in the playoffs and they suck. You get any guesses, Jimmy, as to who I'm talking about?
Puck drop at 7:10 tonight. Beersy and Surratt at 6:30 with the pregame show?
Correct. Pregame at 6:30 with Beers and Surratt. Not in that order necessarily. Surratt and Beers. Followed by Game 5 of the Bruins series against the Florida Panthers right here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. So that's number one. I really, the analytics thing, it relates to the other story as well.
Well, analytics also cost the Tampa Rays a World Series a few years ago against the Dodgers in 2020, where Blake Snell is just cruising right along. It's like, oh, there's the pitch count. Can't have him face the lineup another time. Let's get him out of there. They lost 3-1 to the Dodgers.
So this is the thing, really, when you look at it, like the Tampa Bay Rays, how far does it get you? How far does it get you? Like, what is the ceiling with the analytics? What's the ceiling? So you know what? Let me figure something out here. I'm going to do this real quick. Over that same length of time in baseball, Tampa Bay has the 4th best record in the game. And when I say that same length of time, that 5-year period where the Red Sox can't beat the Rays, the 3 teams in front of Tampa in winning percentage are the Dodgers, Braves, Astros. Then the Rays, then the Yankees. Milwaukee is 6. They're another small market team or budget-conscious team. Cleveland is 7. So these teams at the top, and you look at them, Tampa Bay, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Minnesota, all in the top 8, and I would not call big spending teams. How have those teams fared in the postseason? And I would tell you that the large majority of them, let me go right through them, I guess. Tampa Bay hasn't won. Milwaukee hasn't won. Cleveland hasn't won. Minnesota hasn't won. So none of them have won. Minnesota, in fact, had one of the longest losing streaks in postseason history, if not the longest losing streak in postseason history. The analytics only get you so far. So again, could the Red Sox be better with good analytics? Sure. How far is it going to get you? Is that what you want to be? Paper tiger? Accounting tiger? A team that can win during the regular season, but you can't win in the playoffs? which brings me to the play last night in the Red Sox game that Cedanne Rafaela almost made. And I say almost made because I saw the headline today, and I have to admit, I chuckled. And before I go any further, let me just say, Christopher Smith wrote the story at Mass Live. I've met Christopher Smith. This is no indictment on Christopher Smith. It's an indictment on the era we are in and how people look at baseball, which blows me away. In the first inning last night, Tampa Bay sent, and I'm going to get his name wrong. It's Ahmad, I think. Ahmad Rosario hit a ball into right center field, and Chris Smith writes that had a .940 expected batting average, but center fielder Cedanne Rafaela almost caught it. Jimmy, have you seen this play?
The one last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay. Ball was hit in the right center field. Rafaela had to run a pretty good distance left to right. Went into an all-out dive, what the headline refers to as a Superman dive. Okay, it was a Superman dive. He was basically parallel with the ground. Stuck his hand out, his glove out. The ball deflected off the top of his glove. It ended up being a triple. Tampa Bay scored 3 runs in the first inning. The Red Sox actually tied the game in the bottom half on a 3-run homer by Tyler O'Neill. So the play, in effect, got erased, but there was great attention put on the play because Rafaela almost caught it.
Superman would have caught it.
Okay, almost caught it. Now, look, I'm a hard grader on these sorts of things. I would tell you the hardest part of the play was running the ball down, which Rafaela did. And one thing Rafaela does in the outfield that is excellent is he gets great jumps on balls. This is where there's a difference between him and, say, Jarren Duran. Rafaela gets an exceptional jump on the ball, and he did in this case toward right center field. He dove. He was there. The glove was there, and it hit off at the top of his glove. Now, was it an error? No. He should have had it. Given that he accomplished, and again, I'm penalizing him now for being a guy who gets great jumps on balls. He did the hard part. This is sort of, to me, the equivalent of a ball into the hole for a shortstop. He's got to dive, then gets up and throws the ball away. But he would have had the guy at first base if he made a good throw. The play last night for Rafaela was something like that, if you ask me. He could have made the play, maybe even should have made the play given where he was. It's not an error, but he can make it. And I'm penalizing him for being a great outfielder. I admit that. But he very easily could have made that play. He's that kind of player.
I don't think Rafaela is a great outfielder, Tony. If they had called that an error last night, that would have been his 4th error in center field, which would lead the major leagues.
Okay, so Jimmy, you're right. He's made some sloppy mistakes out there. A couple of careless mistakes. One was a ball in, was that Oakland?
Oakland,
It was Oakland.
The overrated catch. Or non-catch.
No. In Oakland, the play he made was he just kind of nonchalantly tried to backhand the ball in the outfield and didn't catch it. He was standing right there. It's hit right at him. And it was just a sloppy play. There was another one in Seattle early in the year where Abreu ran right past the ball. Rafaela was backing him up and it deflected off his glove and the runner got an extra base. I actually think the bad play was made on Abreu there. So now I will say, though, to your point, there have been a couple of sloppy mistakes, but he's a very gifted outfielder. Okay, so maybe that's a better way to say it. He's a gifted outfielder. But when the story is reported as the ball at the bat had a .940 expected batting average, shouldn't your eyes just be enough to look at the play and go, wow, that was almost a great play. That's not a play that a lot of guys can make. A lot of guys probably don't even get close. I'm not sure Duran gets all that close to that ball. And he's fast. Because I think it requires getting a good jump, laying out for all the above. And I also think that Rafaela has the tools to make it. Good hand-eye, like all that stuff. But a .940 expected batting average? Would anyone in a million years ever describe a play that way? And so this is how it all gets reported now or conveyed to people is what was the expected catch percentage? The answer of which is 6. Tyler Milliken tweeted Jimmy that it was 5. Is that right? It was a 5% chance of being caught?
Yeah.
Well, as it turned out, it didn't get caught. So we're celebrating what? Something that could have almost happened but didn't based on the laws of probability or based on the expected batting average? I mean, to me, that's sort of where I get off. Like, oh, he almost made a catch that didn't get made. That gets made 5% of the time. Well, yeah, but he didn't catch it. That's like saying he hit the ball to the base of the wall at the end of the warning track. He almost hit a home run. How many of those do we see? We don't put headlines on those. 617-779-0985. Martin's in Texas. Martin, what do you got?
Hey, Tony. I know you just said you saw the play from yesterday against the Rays, but there was also a similar play where he kind of tore his hand over the bullpen fence at a home run in the Nationals game. I believe it was on Sunday. And my whole point is I know he's only getting paid $6 million a year, whatever it is, with his new contract, but if he's not going to hit the ball, he's got to make plays like the one you were just talking about and the play you almost made on Sunday, but he botched that too, that hit the tip of his glove, because he's supposed to be a Gold Glove outfielder. That's a Jackie Bradley Jr. Gold Glove outfielder play that he's not making. I expect him to make those. Am I being too high with my standards or what?
No, you're not being too high because he's that talented a kid. And I'll tell you this, Bradley's a good guy to bring up. Bradley probably makes that play. He probably does. Now, he's a little more experienced. And I will also say that one thing about Bradley was so good on jumps and on running balls down that he oftentimes didn't have to dive. On that play, you would have had to. I think any outfielder would have had to dive on that sort of play. And I'm not going to sit here and dump on Rafaela's defense, because let's not forget, he's been playing a lot of shortstop of late, and him playing shortstop has brought stability to the Red Sox defense. Okay, but the whole idea of why do we have to put a number? Why? And by the way, do we believe it? How do we know that it's 94%? Based on what? The velocity of the hit? The way it was moving? So most center fielders, is that basically telling me that 1 out of 100 outfielders makes that play? I think the number's a little higher than 1 out of 100, but is that what the logic is? Why do we need a freaking number on that? Why do I need a number on that play? Why? Why can't I just say he almost made a great play, he didn't? Why do I need the 94%? I already know it's a tough play. Why do I need the number? Why? We get to your calls when we come back in the baseball hour.
Stay tuned.
Look at the effort on that.
Man.
Back-to-back nights. Day game yesterday, but man, that is impressive right there. I thought that was down easily, too, in the gap.
Lines up a 2-run triple.
Man, I don't blame him for not making the play, but he probably should have made it. In any case, and when I say should have, because, again, he has the ability to, yes, I'm penalizing him for being a tremendous defender. I am. Most guys I wouldn't expect to make that play. And to Martin in Texas's point, a caller in the previous segment, Rafaela's got to make those special plays if he's going to be a guy who hits 200 or thereabouts. So that play's he's got to make that one. And because then you can look at it and say, okay, well, he's venturing into an area of defense where he is so elite that there are certain that plays that he can make that only 1 out of 20 big leaguers can make. 5% of big leaguers can make that play. If that's the case, then you put up with the 200 average. If it's going to be a play that 20 or 25% of big leaguers can make, and he's one of those, there is a difference there. I'm not picking on him. I'm just telling you how it is. What else? Oh, I want to share with you something about some text messages I exchanged with people in the last day that I think is revealing, but we'll get to that momentarily. Steve in a car on Cedanne, Rafaela. Good, Steve.
So I don't know if you watched the game on TV the other night, but before that play, O'Brien was going on for like 10 minutes about how he almost made the play the night before. Is that what we're about now, celebrating almost making plays?
Yes. I don't know how else to tell you. Yes, that's what they're about now. Yes. Almost making plays about what might happen next year with the players you're... This is what it is now with the Red Sox. What do you want me to tell you? Yes, that is what it is. Celebrating what might happen or could happen. Things that we got close to accomplishing. That is sort of what it is. Otherwise, what is there? And I said I wanted to share this with you. I emailed a couple of people today. Okay? A couple of people who are around the team a lot with a very specific question. Is there anything even remotely interesting going on with the Red Sox right now? This is a question I asked to two different people. The first reply I got, 0. So again, the question is there anything even remotely interesting going on with the Red Sox right now? The answer I got, 0. Question number 2. Same question, but reply, what's the right word? Respondent number 2. Is there anything even remotely interesting going on with the Red Sox right now? The answer, horrible. Every game is the same. Connor Wong has legit... This made me laugh. Connor Wong has legit turned into one of their 3 top position players. That says it all. Now, Connor Wong has surprised me. He was good in the early part of last year, too. But again, is this what we're celebrating? So this is what, when the prior caller says, is this what we're celebrating? Almost plays in the outfield. Yep. Is this what we're celebrating? Celebrating close games that are losses against good competition. Yep. That's what it is. So do you want me to tell you that I like that? I don't. How could I? I would rather watch a legit playoff caliber championship threat of a product. We all would. We're not getting that this year. Could there be a step toward it this year? Sure. But lately, it feels like the Red Sox are basically on a freaking treadmill. They're 21-20, I believe it is now, after 41 games. Basically a quarter of the way through the schedule. And as I have been saying now for 2 or 3 years, on their way to 81-81. As it turned out, they won 78-84 2 years ago. They went 78-84 last year. And I looked this up since 2019. I told you at the beginning of the show, 27-54 against the Rays over the last 5 years. Okay, 19, 20, 21, 5+ years. Overall, you know what the Red Sox is over that 5+ years period, Jimmy Stewart? I looked this up a little bit ago. They are perfectly 500. Perfectly. Actually, I take that back. 377 and 372. 5 games over that length of time. They're one game over 500 per year over that length of time. 82 and 80. Congratulations. David in North Providence. David, what do you got?
Yes, how you doing tonight, Maz?
Good. What do you got?
Just got a quick thing for you. People haven't really brought up how there's no fear in this lineup except Devers and maybe O'Neill. How Casas is definitely missed, and obviously Yoshida's a singles hitter. But if you could just bring, what you think to the table on these two players, that they're not missed at all. I think they're highly missed, especially Casas. Thank you.
Okay, hold on. So, David, you said Casas.
A hot start, then the injury.
Okay, well, he said Casas and Yoshida. They miss Casas. There's no question about it. Yoshida's been borderline useless. Again, you're talking about a
Home of the Patriots, the Celts, the Revs, and the Bruins.